If there is a message for us today, I believe it is to learn to live from our heart in love. These short lessons, hopefully, will help to inspire you to live with purpose, love passionately, and inspire others. We are the change agent our world needs. I'm Helen Toews. Step into the river today with me to explore the mysteries of God. They are not hidden from us, but for us to discover. Oh, wow, wow, wow. Well, I just got a little note here too. I'm glad you mentioned Ellen, but I see that Kingdom Talks has posted the tribute to Christopher Carter, and so that is on Facebook. It's on YouTube.com. A tribute to Christopher Carter, Kingdom Talks with Gil Hodges. So if anyone is interested, that's where you would find that. It's been, yeah, that was very, took your breath away, didn't it, Ellen? Took your breath away. Yeah, took all of our breath away. It was, we have a lot of questions from, from the Lord. I used to say, before I knew more about how the whole thing works, that if I get to heaven before you, don't be surprised if there's a long lineup, because I've got a lot of questions I'm going to ask. And little back then, I didn't know you could ask them now. And I kind of like that part. So I can say, well, what if God? And then, you know what? Somehow he brings a group of people who are all asking the same question. And miracle, we get answers. It's really pretty cool. So let's just take a deep breath. I'm believing that Kim's going to get back on.
I'm here.
Oh,
Just
wonderful.
got back. So sorry, guys. My Wi-Fi went down.
Welcome back, Kim. Welcome back. Happy summer solstice. I'm glad you're there. Yes. Kim and I are both recording. We decided that we would be each other's safety valve in this, because we've had some goofy technical things. So we're both recording now. So just officially welcome everybody. Just really, really blessed beyond that we're all together in this. And for those of you who weren't part of the week before or the convergence on Sunday, we're just in a couple of sessions now of something really a little bit different. And I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but because we are going to post it formally, not right away, but in a week or two, and with all the details. But what we're doing is offering a 12 weeks, what we're calling the What If Chronicles. And how it's going to work is we're going to put out a challenge once a week on a Tuesday evening. And it's a 1 hour. The challenge may not be an hour. Maybe we've only got 15 minutes worth of stuff. I doubt it, but we're setting aside an hour and recording it and having it posted right away, so that if you are interested in taking this What If Chronicles challenge, then every week we're going to put that out. And there's going to be a very provocative, I believe, hour of challenging us in things. You may be very, very comfortable with some of the subjects, but some of us are maybe on a real learning curve. But what we're going to do is we're going to take that, and with that we're going to send out what we're just calling the PDF from the meeting. So you're going to get our notes, you're going to get our comments, you're going to get some of the things that were presented. Both Kim and I have different styles, so you'll just hear us talking on this PDF, and we want you to have that, because our goal is that by the end of 12 weeks, you're going to have a little booklet, like your own syllabus, so that You can have everything together. I like doing things that way. I like for the order, but at the end, you've got to take away. And there's so many times that we're in these things, these a course, if you will. And I've always been happy to have the syllabus, because I don't always remember, I don't always write down the things as they're coming. And but we will have all, if there's scripture, if there are quotes, if there is where to find the information, recommended reading there, it won't look the same every week, but the information will be there. We want you to have that. With that will come what as part of the challenges will be some, there might be a recommended meditation, or an ascension time, journaling time, a question to answer time, something to stimulate you. They'll all be in there. And what we're asking you to do is to commit to spending time doing this for the next week, because so often we go to a conference or a teaching or a course or something, and we get really, I don't know what it is. It's this adrenaline rush of, wow, you feel like Superman coming out of there, or Superwoman, or whatever the pronoun is now. You feel really on this high, and then it wears off. It's like sometimes you just do a crash and you go, well, that was really good. What's next? Well, we want to stop that cycle and start learning different things. And there's going to be activations you may not have done. And there might be activations I'm going to tell you right now that you've been told are new age, because I know the ones I'm going to challenge you with. But they're not. They actually have science behind them. And you might find those as a tool. You won't have heard about them in church or whatever. But these are things, because science and spirituality are coming together, and they're not at war, by the way. They are actually, science is sticking with their language, it seems, but I'm not, because and neither is Kim. We're putting God right in the middle of it, because we know that's where he belongs. And so everything comes out of that plumb line of Christ consciousness. And but you'll be stretched a bit, because we've really been stretched a bit with the language, with everything, with everything. So that's what we're going to do. Kim and I have had a wonderful, well, for the last year, we have laughed a lot in our personal growth and sharing, and some of the things that we've challenged each other on, and just thrown on the pile and think, oh my golly, where did that come from? And so we're not going to apologize, or maybe we should ahead of time, but we're going to go where no man went before. So sometimes it'll just be the ballast of the ship, and sometimes we need that. So I don't want you to get worried about the it's not the homework, because whatever it is, we're not asking you to commit 24 hours a day to something, and that's just unrealistic. What we're going to do is we're going to present things, and we're going to ask if you can just take that week, and we all know that what you give your attention to expands, right? So whatever the challenge is, and whatever the activation, we're not going to ask you to sit on a mountaintop for 4 hours. We're just going to ask you, activate this in yourself and be conscious of it, aware of it, and do it repeatedly throughout the day or throughout the week. Don't let it go, and see where it takes us, because when we do those things, they get embedded, right? It's like riding a bike. You practice, you pedal, you fall, and you go, but then when you're 80 years old, you still know how to ride a bike. And that's what we want. We want those things inside of us. So that. Kim, over to you. Is there anything that you want to add? I just sort of went off like a machine gun there.
No, you did. It was perfect. It was absolutely perfect. Okay. And I think the only thing I want to reiterate, I guess, is this, again, what Helen said, this is not about doing homework. This is not about accomplishing a check, that for you as well as us, it actually creates more questions that we can dive into, step into, expand from within ourselves out. So that really is the heart behind it. And we're on this journey together.
We are. And isn't that the most fun part, really and truly? I want to read you something that someone this week, Renee from South Africa, wrote. I had never met her before, but she asked to be put part of the group. But of course, she's in another time zone. But she wrote me back and she said, I appreciate being added to your list. Your teachings on meditation and deeper revelation on relationship has changed me. The discussion, and I want you to hear this, everybody, because it's not about what Ed and I are, 747 doing it here. She said, the discussions with members helps a lot with questions of how to apply the lessons, especially with meditations, understanding the energy systems, Merkaba, which have always been preached against as demonic, but now know it is how we've been created. I have discovered that God is not feeling that we are challenging him by digging deeper and daring to go against religion to discover him and ultimately myself. The testimonies, guys, thank you for sharing, and please continue. The testimonies are also an encouragement that we are not being let off in hearsay. I also want you to know I appreciate having found you on YouTube and can go over and over the lessons to apply to myself, and each time I discover more. I was so blessed by that. There's a little more there, but it just put together all of my whole heart's desire, and that's that we are a people group that are making a difference. And the testimonies when we speak out I thought, do people really want to listen to a bunch of people talking? And the answer is, yeah, actually they do. And I really want to encourage you, whether you're on Convergence on Sunday morning or with us on Wednesday night, share your heart, because somebody out there needs the words you have, the way that you say it, and it makes a difference, and it builds courage, and it builds just that peace of knowing. And like she said, we've been discouraged from so much, but our testimonies are so good, because you know what? It's too late. It's already happened. and your guys are presenting it so beautifully that it's changing lives. So I wanted to share that. So when we're putting this together, we are really looking forward to what's going to happen. This is really, become something very, very precious. And so how many of you—
Can I share something? Can I
Yes.
just share something here? Don't mind. You were just saying people might find it a little bit new agey and stuff like that. Like I told you, I'm part of a Joe Dispenza community and stuff like that. And we've got incredible healings of people being able to see, almost 20% blind and being able to see. We've got people who've got not have to have gallbladder surgery, and people not, jumping off and killing, not the people who are suicidal. And all without Bible. And there's no one's quoting the Bible, no one's all this. It's just a whole different language, and we're experiencing all these things. And it's so easy because I just emphasize the fact that Dispenza talks about the divine within, and all I need to do, and all we're doing is we're bringing that focus to who I am. And they talk the same way, you know, and the only difference is that there's no Christianese. I don't have to justify it with a Bible verse. That's the difference with the Christians and this other group of professionals, we just talk science and we just talk about coherence and the body in harmony, and God is harmony. And that's the point.
Yeah.
And so I think that bringing this to the table, the only people that you have to justify your Christianese with is the Christians.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, I totally agree. And that too is why I really appreciate the people like Joe and Greg and Bruce Lipton, people that are bringing the science and spirituality together, and really and truly not only grateful to them for putting it together, and the power that they're walking in. It is absolutely, and I don't, you know what, that sounded really Christianese too, the power they are walking in, but they are revealing the power within, and bringing it to a place that brings understanding for the common man like us, that just we can get it. But we can get it. I've listened to Joe quite a bit, and I've noticed how he's becoming more and more adamant to the participation part. Don't think that you can just watch from afar and get the same results, right? And Debbie just said, yes, the incarnate us. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that, Debbie. Okay, so last, if you were on the convergence, you had an idea of how some of the challenge that was presented. Kim started and shared some things, and I'm not gonna get into what she shared because we've chatted. I said I'm gonna go first because I really want to end where Kim is going with her part of the mentoring here. I want you to I want us to end this session with the understanding of how important it is to be sovereignly on this planet, a human being, because so many people put that down, where we are the most powerful entity on this earth. And so I challenge that with asking, yes, on Sunday, well, what do you think of what's happening with AI? Like all the things that people are actually running after. Would you believe that? They are running after in such a way, even to the point of marrying robots and thinking it's okay to give a robot a passport to a country, and having the discussions now are about, well, will they go as far to replace human beings? Will they be smarter, faster, better, et cetera, et cetera? Well, part of that answer is yes. They will have more information. Will they be smarter and better? They will be an accumulation of intelligence like we have not seen yet. The reason I wanted to bring it up is so that we would never, ever let go of the fact that this human body that we're in, that is, every cell of our body has the signature of God on it, is the most important and the most empowered and powerful entity that is on this earth, and we must never give that up. That was the reason for the challenge, and went into some things. Now, before I open it up for questions, about 50 years ago now, my oldest brother was working in Hollywood, and he actually was George C. Scott's stand-in for the movie Patton. It was the same size as George C. Scott. Lots of good stories there. But he came off that that experience, and he said, you know what, Helen, do you know what's coming up in Hollywood? We're going to come to the place where you won't know the difference if it's a real person on the stage or a hologram. It's going to be that real. And so 50 years ago is where I started this questioning and the what ifs and understanding. So I've always had this wondering, and now we're seeing it. Do you know Ceylon? What's her name? The Canadian Ceylon. Is that her name? Ceylon?
Her name's Celine
Celine
Dion.
Celine Dion. I'm putting
Celine
the two
Dion.
together. Good. She had Elvis in one of her as a hologram. So she's on the stage singing with Elvis. In it was, I don't know if it was Olympics or whatever, they had Michael Jackson in a hologram, resurrected in there. They Whitney Houston has a hologram tour. So she's been resurrected in a hologram. People are going and watching her perform in hologram force. Like, it's interesting, right? It's interesting. I'm sure it has its use, but it's a little bit eerie. For me, it's a little bit eerie. Anyway, here is one of the questions. Is AI found in the Bible? Because those are, a lot of us come out of Christian communities, and they need to be there. And does anybody have an answer for that? Have you thought about it? Because I do have the answer. So nobody's going to say anything. Okay, yes, it is. Yes, it is. I've got my notes here because I don't have this memorized. The M25, XM25 is a joint venture sniper rifle that was built for both the U.S. Army Special Forces and the U.S. Navy SEALs in the late 1980s. That's a while ago. The light sniper rifle, as it's also known as the sniper security system. The XM25 appears to be the perfect weapon for street-to-street fighting. It targets enemy fighter hiding behind walls and only breaking cover to fire occasionally. When this weapon is fired, the explosive round would carry exactly 1 meter past the wall and explode with the force of a hand grenade. The ammunition is the key, not the weapon. This 25 millimeter round contains a chip that receives a radio signal from the gun sight to the distance to the target. So they're shooting at something they can't even see, and this will hit the mark. Soldiers are able to use them to target snipers hidden in the trenches rather than calling in air strikes. Where is this? Where's this advanced technology in the Bible? Well, how about in Jeremiah 50, verse 9? For lo, I raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her, and thence she shall be taken. Their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man. None shall return in vain. Here's the key. Their arrows will be as a mighty expert man. None will return in vain. Their arrows, the ammunition, not the rifle, not the bow, not the man, the arrow, the ammunition will be as of a mighty expert. The NAS says the national, or the New American Standard, the arrows like an expert warrior who does not return empty-handed it describes the character of the arrow. The arrow in Hebrew is Khayts, and it's the intelligence is in the arrow, in the not in the weapon. By definition, in the Hebrew, it means anything shot from an engine of war or shot from a bow by hand or a machine. It's in the Bible. Even scripture prophesied of the advanced technology of today's army that would be created. And in Daniel 2:43, it says, it talks about a time where human engineering would be attempted. Daniel says, as you saw iron with ceramic clay, they will mingle with the seed of men, but they will not adhere to one another. See, there's a personal pronoun to all of this. Just as iron does not mix with clay, there was going to come a time where there would be that mixture of and experimental. Then we're seeing that, right? The mixed genetics. I talked about that on Sunday. We're in a time where iron and clay are trying to be mixed. To say we're in troubling times would be an understatement. So, if you listen to that, were you at all disturbed by what is happening with artificial intelligence? Or did you look it up, or did anything cross your path in the couple of days since you've seen it or thought about it?
Can I just share something here? So like when I first heard it, when you talked about artificial intelligence and stuff, I mean, the thing that hit me was like, that's really the focus of my purpose and gospel is to really, the very most important thing is to help people realize the value of their humanity, and what's within that is going to be part of my focus. That's going to be part of my gospel, what I want people to know. That's really been stirring. That has just stirred me up even more about the importance of getting this message out of how divine we are, and that really sealed the deal for me. Like, that is the message that needs to get out.
Well, that I agree. That is mine too. I start everything from that point of heart-brain coherence, recognizing the power within. So thank you, Debbie. I'm with you. Tess. And then Gina, where are you?
I think I have two perspectives, two viewpoints. One is I was in the military when that research started. So I remember a lot of that stuff from back then. And of course, within most of what I would say my peers of Christians, it was doomsday talk. I mean, everybody was like, oh, this is the end times. This is, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't have that response. And the reason is, this is point one, I guess. The reason is that even 35, 40 years ago, I had this viewpoint, and maybe someday somebody will tell me I'm wrong. God will say I'm wrong. But I had this viewpoint that if my God is really supreme, there is nothing that can undo his plan, his creation, no matter how advanced. And let me tell you, I am a super nerd when it comes to sci-fi movies. So we're talking Terminator, we're talking Avatar, we're talking, Matrix, we're talking anything and everything, and many that people haven't even seen. Pacific Rim blew my mind. There was so much prophecy in that, it was unreal. Okay. 300 people think it's more like a historic drama, right? No, to me it was full-blown prophecy of who we are, right? So anyway, that was my viewpoint. My viewpoint was that, how big do I really see my God? And so nothing can undo his plan and override his plan. However, the second perspective that I have had, and I have not voiced anywhere, but maybe with Debbie, I think, is that I am not convinced that this is an either or option. And I'm not convinced that the ultimate convergence, nice use of that word, I didn't even think about that, is not some form of our idea of transhuman, that the ultimate of who we are, and I'm not saying being a physical body, I don't even like to use the word human, but I am not convinced that there is not an elevated state that supersedes how we see ourselves now. So I am not convinced. I know everybody around me is all upset about, and I know there's people from all over the world here, but I know there's people that are just totally convinced and upset about the fact that they think that America is going to hell in a handbasket and losing everything and whatever. And I have been literally telling people that I'm not convinced that it's not time for a new nation. And I'm not saying that it's a nation bound by geographical boundaries, and all of that. And they'll look at me like I've just committed the worst of the worst anti-constitutional, unpatriotic, I don't care which side of the aisle. I keep telling them that as far as I'm concerned, the two aisles are two sides, two cheeks of the same ASS, and what comes from between is crap. So do away with it all. And is that not what often happens, is that we see chaos and destruction where new is being resurrected, is being, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's the same way that we would look at the destruction of the temple if we were of that age and we were Nicodemus and his peers. We would be rending our clothes that temple, the thing that we held most sacred, was crumbling to the ground. But there was a bigger plan.
Yeah. Tessa, I think you're hitting on some really, really interesting points. And I like the way that you're talking about it, because you haven't left the middle of it. That we are part of that answer. There was I don't know, you may have heard the story of the Mexican-American War, where the two generals came together, and they were talking about the strategy for what was happening. And they said, and one said, you know what, you've got a column coming in from the north, you've got a column coming in from the east, you've got a column coming in from the west, you've got a column coming in from the south. Which one do you think is going to take the nation? And he says, none of those. I have a fifth column. They are in it. And that's who we are. We're the fifth column. We're in stealth mode. We're hidden, but we're the ones that will overtake. And we are what the nation's looking for. We're a nation within a nation. And that's the awesomeness. So yeah. And we're not doing it fighting either, by the way. We're doing it being who we are. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Gina.
Yeah, now my head's really spinning. Thanks, Tess. When you start talking about AI, you are engaged in the conversation, you're listening, and you're thinking, oh, geez, this is like really awful. And then you go back and you let it sit in your heart for a while. And I think, wait a minute now. AI was built and based on human intelligence. Hang on a second. They only took what we had and made it into some artificial thing. That's why it's got artificial intelligence. And I thought, oh, okay, wow. Well, that then, took me down another little rabbit hole that said, just a minute now, let's think about who we are. That's the important thing here. Talking about all that's trying to come at us in this natural realm, right? In the Luciferian rebellion realm. Obviously, it's not going to be that excitingly fun and happy, because there's always some sort of agenda underneath it. And then I thought, if all of that technology was based on how we are made and how our consciousness works and how we're co-creators with Christ, how we live in our Christed light, how we're co-seated in the authority and the glory of God. How could we be at all afraid of that? Because within us is much more even than that technology. So the I am teaching and concentrating on my concentration on knowing who I am, that I am the divine spark. I was the divine spark when I was created. Before I was created, I was in my mother's womb. At the beginning of time, I was the divine spark. And what is this divine spark? Well, it sounds good. Oh, I'm a divine spark. Isn't that great? What is that? It's like, it's my I amness. And who I am in my relationship to my words and my actions, that goes out into the universe. That's the technology. So when I heard that teaching of the AI, I'm thinking, thinking all that, I thought, well, it's so critical that we know who we are in this time, because we're all one, and we're one with the earth, and the earth is shifting and all this stuff is shifting, but we need to rise above what is happening on this plane. That's the ascension. That's the rapture. That's the second coming of Christ. The Christed light rising above the stuff of here. And we walk in love, and we walk in unity, and we walk in this higher self that we are. That's the divine spark. And I thought, wow. So it's my responsibility then, in my capacity, that I bring to this earth with all the giftings that I am. Yours is different, mine's different. But if I do my thing, you do your thing, we're good. My responsibility to bring this spark of the divine into the earth. That's sovereignty, because there is no sovereignty until I know that I'm sovereign.
Come on.
And I think I better know.
Come on.
So I thought, yeah, I'm giving my attention to that. I'm putting my energy in that, because I'm the true and divine steward of my divine spark.
Come on.
So I thought, wow, I'm gonna just go ahead and sit in that.
Come on.
And I'm with you, Tess. I think all the pillars of society need to fall. However that is, it doesn't matter, because we are walking in it. We're here for such a time as this, for a specific purpose in our lives. We bring our capacity and we bring our purpose. That's it. That's all. There's the end. That's all we can do. We bring our capacity and we bring our purpose. And if we all do it, then we can walk around in the Ho'oponopono and we'll be fine.
Yeah. In love. Wow. Gina, got Kim jumping out of her skin. Do you want to say anything, Jim? Kim, there's a little line up here.
I'm having a Holy Spirit moment over here. I mean, honestly, Gina, I think you read my mind and all of the things that I wrote down. So, amen. Yes, ma'am. That's so
We're all one mind, so that
Yeah.
doesn't surprise me.
right.
Yeah.
So see, I was actually typing what you were thinking.
There you go. Awesome. I love it.
That was beautiful. That was, and you said something, and I know we've got a lineup, so I don't want to take too much time. But to even Helen's question, what do you think about what's happening with AI? We have to remember, even with everything that Gina just exquisitely said, there is a huge difference between what we create as humans, right? Our humanness that is so profoundly, we are the treasure Father has been speaking of from before time began. It's this that you see in the mirror every day. There is a difference between what we create with our hands and what we create from that is birthed of woman. One, even though it has a measure of glory and has a measure of all the goodness, right? It is still measured. It is still contained within measure. But a person, a human born of woman from the womb, is unlimited, is the wheel within the wheel, is the mansions that Father has, the how, all of that is all of the exponential glory that no eye has seen, no ear has heard, nor has it entered into the heart of man, a person that does not know himself, his own I amness.
Right.
So love what you shared, Gina. Love what you shared.
Super, Kim. Thank you. I knew you were jumping out of your skin. This is okay. I've got Tess, Kathy, Tamara, and Angela. Tess.
So as Gina was talking, of course, I was already electrified anyway, but when she started speaking about this is the ascension, this is the rapture, whatever, I had just started thinking earlier again about some things that came to me back in 1995. I think it was 96. One of my very favorite episodes of Deep Space Nine, which I consider a very prophetic chronicle of its own. Deep Space Nine was one called Meridian. It was in the 3rd season. And it was about a group of humans that showed up on this planet where they had not seen humans or people before. But what happened was that they basically took on corporeal shape or form about every 60 years or so. They were able to come to Earth, to this planet. They were able to fellowship human to human, sitting around eating food and birthing children or whatever the case may be, but it only lasted for a short time. And then they didn't die. They simply became non-corporeal. And I remember at that moment while I was watching that, man, my whole body just went into Holy Ghost, whatever you want to call it. I don't know what you want to call it. I don't know how many people understand, but there was a part of me that the scripture came up where Jesus said, "Where I am, that you may be also." And I recognized, or at least I thought, and I don't know, nothing has changed my mind yet, that is a form of the ascension, the rapture, that we become so who we are. We understand so much who we are that we are literally walking that line between corporeal and non-corporeal, as Jesus did, and I believe that Paul did, and I believe that some of the Old Testament prophets did, where they were in the world but not of the world, and could literally walk through people and not be seen because they were non-corporeal and corporeal at the same time. And I honestly believe that, I mean, that's when that started. So that's been 30 years for me of having that, ideology. Whether it's right or wrong, I'll find out, because I plan on living forever.
There you go. There you go. There you go. I'm with you. I'm with you, Tess. I'm with you. That's so good. And I think I saw in the chat, there's a lot of trekkers out there with you.
Yeah.
A lot of us. Thank you for sharing, Tamara.
Well, I just wanted to share something that I think it was, and I could be wrong, but on Sunday when we were talking about all of this, somebody posted in the chat the scripture in Isaiah, see, we were talking about the scripture in Isaiah, behold, or see, I will do a new thing. And it stood out to me because when I was reading that in the chat, it was see period. See period. Not comma, not see, here's what I'm going to do. Let me give you a list of the things. It's see period. We will see. And then he says, I will do a new thing. And when I sat since then talking to the Father about it, he was really impressing on me and showing me about see, and for us to see that word, actually see, but look at that differently, because the new thing is not going back to seeing how you're comfortable seeing from the past. And I'm not saying that is not beautiful and it's, I'm not saying any of that. What I'm saying is set that aside a little and see what Father is showing you, the new thing, and be open and aware to, maybe you will start seeing things from the place that Father is wanting to show you, and it may not look like the way you've seen in the past, and whatever that looks like, seen, smelled, visioned, all the things, right? Give yourself that. And so Father's just been showing me that see period. I will do a new thing. I am a new thing. I will, as I am, do a new thing. See period. So anyway, I just wanted to share that. That's been on my heart since Sunday, but I just wanted to share that.
Tamara, I love it when something like that just explodes. I think that was it Greg that posted that right at the end of Convergence on Sunday, and
yes, Greg, yes. Yes, Greg.
Yeah. And like, let's not take anything for granted here. The little things that we think we're doing, what explode into great revelation. So thank you, Greg. Thank you, Tamara. It's really, really, really helpful. And Kim had unpacked that to see as well. And it's in your notes. If you didn't get those notes, it's they're available. Have you got them online, Kim? You're frozen there. She must be in a thunderstorm. Tess, yes, Tess, send them to Tess. All right. Okay. Anyway, thank you. Oh, that's so awesome. Really appreciate that. Okay, Kathy and then Angela.
I wanted to comment on the AI question you had before, and I think what impacted me from the variety of things you were saying to us about people marrying robots and having robot babies, and it made me sad, to think that that people were going to those lengths for what they thought was relationship, but obviously they can't. And just reflecting back the relational poverty that a lot of us, our Western society for sure, lives in. And just really makes my heart burdened, and I guess some compassion for them, and just that they don't understand their identity. And there's so many that haven't yet discovered, that they are included in Christ. And so I think that would be my overall response to that, would be that sadness, and the need for us to be love, right? That we are love, and then to be love, and to those around us who are in struggling with relational poverty, and longing for meaning and belonging. And so that would be my comment about it.
But Kathy, I think you hit on a key. Like, it's just one of those keys that we are that fifth column. We are the hidden city in this. We are, when we are love as he is, we become what's the word, irresistible, like without people knowing. And so we just are it. We don't even have to try. We need to just focus and expand the fact that we are true love in every part of our body, and do whatever is necessary to keep that frequency. That love is the highest, that, because that's who God is love. And he is spirit. We are love. We are spirit. And so it may sound like a daunting task, but if we think of it as a daunting task, we will do different things than just setting our heart, our energy, our mind, our hope, our love to that expression. And I love what science is showing. The expression of that is actually measurable. It is completely measurable. It is not nothing. It is a huge something. So I'm glad your heart was breaking. So is mine. So is mine. It breaks my heart that people are giving their weight, their sovereignty away, and choosing stimulus from the outside to do what our very being is created to do, and not without anything. Nothing is impossible. Right. That. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that so much, Kathy. Angela.
Thank you. Wow, this is so amazing, and y'all's comments are incredible. I'm thinking of as well, on top of our artificial intelligence, is that transhumanism, where you want, what's it called, enhancements, that blending in your own body, like changing your DNA forever, like even with like mRNA type stuff. But so what I was, that's coming to my mind would be that what we are called to usher in is, like Justin Abraham coins it, the joy economy and the love economy. We're talking about everything's got to be torn down, but as we sit in our I amness, Isaiah 61 came to me, where, he's talking about the Spirit of the Lord God is upon me to, bring good news and bind up the brokenhearted, proclaim liberty, comfort those, everything. But it's when we step into that I amness that the Spirit of the Lord God, is here. This is it. It says they will rebuild the ancient ruins, raise up the former devastations, repair the ruined cities and the desolations of many generations. And for me, as and I've been sitting in this for a while, but that's, like you said, I am the city. You are the city. The desolation of generations is the genetic code that's been hacked. And we're just simply, we are the answer to, for me, I don't have to be fearful and afraid or try to prevent somebody from going and having an enhancement, because I know that when it manifests in me, I don't know what we'll do, for lack of a better way to put it, just say the word, and they're going to be restored, you know. But that was beautiful. And another thing that I was thinking about when you were talking, and you know, Gina, yours is so amazing. My goodness, everything you said was just like a fire hydrant as well. But when you know, we used to have 8-track tapes. Well, nobody was going along going, 8-track tapes are terrible. You can't use them. They don't work. You know, get rid of them. They're just so stupid. Who would have ever known this is terrible? Don't you know? They didn't do that. All they did was create a cassette tape. They created something better. And the 8-track went the way of the wind, you know, all the way to now we don't even have CDs anymore. It's all in the cloud. It's all in the air, you know, and it's like Kim spoke several months ago, and probably when she was talking about her Europe trip, but something she said about that whole, everything that we know that is wrong. This is another thing. When you're gardening, this came to me too. When you're gardening, you don't go, oh my gosh, there's weeds. Let me go get this chemical and put it on there. You do that. And then it's like, oh my gosh, now this is happening. Go get a chemical, do that. You know, you're fighting and you've turned your attention on the wrong thing. But if you would just focus on the soil and introduce the good, then you know what I mean? And I feel like that's what I'm seeing and hearing you guys talk about. Like, that's the model we're looking for. And Kim had said, when the perfect comes, the old will just be forgotten. It's just going to be forgotten in the wind, because we all know when we see truth, we recognize and remember. And I just am so excited for this opportunity to sit with you two ladies and this phenomenal group of people on this call. Like, wow. Just want to thank you all. But those were just some of my thoughts that I was just like going, yes, 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 because there's stuff that's been cooking in me as well.
Well, you know, I think you're speaking for a lot of us. We're feeling the same way. We're feeling the energy of what's happening, and it's happening corporately. So it's really amazing. Kim, her electricity went out. And I think she's back on, because she just asked.
I'm back on. Can you guys believe it? I had to actually go and speak to the crazy storm that's outside my house and tell it had to back off, because I'm not having any of this. Literally all of the electricity in the house went out. All of it. So anyway, thank you for the grace of the shenanigans that seem to be going on outside. My friends, the weather, are wanting to play.
See, there's the real spark of divinity. You just took the authority, and you were the spark, and you turned that electricity back on. That's beautiful.
Amen, Gina.
Light that fire.
That's right.
Well, you know, when and even you know, Angela, sorry, Kim, I'm not disregarding the fact that you're back. Welcome back.
Thank you. No, you're good. You're good. I'm trying to catch up with what I missed.
I thought, oh, you're being rude. I just want to go back to Angela. Angela was just sort of making us all jump out of our skins too.
Oh my gosh, she always does. Every word that comes out of that woman's mouth.
But you know, when we listen to scriptures like Isaiah, the one was quoted, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me." I look at those scriptures differently now. I can't read it that way, because I know the Spirit of the Lord is in me. And so I have to really take those scriptures when I see them, or when they come across my path, and I have to change it into the reality of the language that I know is the reality. Because when I keep thinking, as long as I have this outward experience about something coming on me, and we know very well there's we feel the energy, we feel the frequency that does come. We feel the frequency when when we are together, the frequency of a hug, the cardiognosis, the heart to heart, we do feel those things, but I can't read those scriptures anymore from the outside. I have to change them because my truth is, it's in me. It's in me. I can't just let it go. And I don't want to be a word Nazi, that's rewriting. It just, there's something that's in me that just says, no, that has to be my portion, my reality. So I do change.
Yeah.
And
I mean, all of that happened at the cross,
yeah.
I mean, the cross is because, at the fall, whatever we want to call it, it went from internal to external. So everything played out externally, but at the cross, it all went right back to being in, because it was all correct, it inverted. Anyway, so yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Can I add what you're saying, Angela, is so incredible. I was actually Todd and I were at a family thing a couple of weekends ago, and I was just having conversation, just a normal conversation with the brothers and sisters-in-law and Todd's parents, and chit-chatting, and we were talking about everyone is very much into holistic health and wellness and those types of things, and so our conversation is always incredible, and it was good data, it was good information, and I want everyone to hear my heart when I say what I'm going to say. But as we were talking, and they were talking about these different, this is good for this and this is good for that, and more of this and less of that, and just the normal, all of those things. And I found myself in this dialogue with Father as all of this conversation is going on of, Lord, isn't it amazing? And I'm including myself in what I'm about to say, that from habit, we look to things outside ourselves to fix something that we either think is amiss, out of alignment, and I'm not saying don't stop taking all your meds and stop. I'm not saying any of that. But what I am saying, to your point, Angela, of every answer that I need is in me, is part of me, is I am the answer. I am the answer. And I think part of what Father is giving us, Helen and I, and everyone that participates with the What If Chronicles and Challenges, is to begin to create those new framework of habit, if you will, of, instead of me without thinking, subconsciously either grabbing something to help me feel better, help me sleep, help me rest, you can fill in the blank, that my first response is to look inside and say, okay, I know the answer's here. So Father, let's focus on that. And many people probably, that may be old news, but there is a place that Father is wanting us to go to that literally is, many of you that know me, I have for months, if not the entire year, been it constantly comes up of Peter's shadow healing the man on the side of the street. And that came, and I know I've said it over and over and over and over and over again, but that came out of the overflow of his life, the source that it couldn't help it. His I amness could not help but heal somebody, even in the form of his shadow. He wasn't even paying attention. And so everybody on this call, whether you know it or not, whether you're aware of it cognizantly or not, that is happening to you all the time. Creation is responding to you all the time. Somebody else's body that walks by you is healed because your shadow healed them and you don't even know it. Now, what happens when you begin to know it and move intentionally with it. Move intentionally in it, from it, with that kind of governance.
Yeah.
For all of creation and every place your body finds itself, knowing in your awareness, I am here because there's provision that's needed here, in whatever capacity, whether it's financial, healing, emotional, technical, whatever it is. To put the AI on notice, be still, shut your mouth, settle down. No, you can't go in there. I mean, what would happen, just a what if, okay, since Helen brought up the topic of AI, what would happen if you go somewhere and somebody's having a problem with AI getting into something, and Father says, well, just tell it to back off, and you tell it to back off, and it does.
I'm with you. I
mean, because I am. You are I am. Right? Anyway, okay, I'll hush.
No, don't you dare. Don't you dare.
I'll let other people join.
Yeah, I want to hear Elizabeth too, but thank you.
I do too.
I'm glad you're back. I'm glad the weather is dissipating as we speak. And but yeah, that is the tenacity we have to come to, Kim, in the middle of everything that's happening. Because if we allow our focus to go on to now it's going to get very extreme. And I'm not saying that as a prophet of doom. I'm saying that from keen perception of the obvious. When you look at what is happening to the exponential growth of knowledge with the AI community, how it's being responded to, how it's developing, that we ain't seen nothing yet. But I want to serve notice right now to that community. They ain't seen nothing yet, because
yes, ma'am.
We're here, and we're not letting go of the fact that we're here, why we're here, and why we are all here at this time, at this place, if like now. That's just it. And it's really just simple. We are too late. Suck it up, Buttercup, because we're not going to allow for the damage to be done in it. That's it. And I don't mean that arrogantly. I don't mean it by my ego at all. I know it from my knower, from my I am, because I'm taking very seriously the fact that I am.
Amen, Helen. Amen.
And as Gina would say, Elizabeth, thank you for waiting. Glad you're there.
We're all here. Todd's here too. So I love this conversation. And so what I wanted to just add was Jesus, so he never fought the evil, right? He never did. He never confronted it, never fought it, but he did throw out the money changers. And I had read something that was showing me this, but we're to throw out the money changers in us where we see two powers, where, the good and the evil, or the two powers. And what I'm seeing is that for so long, we've been walking with the Lord. We've been growing in our identity in him, but we've still lived in the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. This is good. This is bad. This is really bad. That's badder, but we're coming to a place now where we're living, from Eden, where there's neither good nor bad. Like, I am the God in me. I am is all knowing, is all powerful. He's the one power. Everything else is a non-power. And I know it seems like a power because it's been given that, but we know the truth. And as we're walking in this, things are changing because we're changing.
Yeah.
And so things are changing. Yeah.
Can I challenge
So good.
that? Yeah. Can I just challenge, because I am the wordsmither here. there are other powers. And we have to understand that they are there, and they are very powerful if we give them any attention, if we give them the authority to be that. Because it's like the enemy still has power, but he only has the authority we give him in that. And so he has no power over us. He has no power within us, to us, except that we allow it. And I know that's, I'm just being really direct, because there are many powers out there. The AI is going to present itself as a very powerful force on this earth. But we are the greater power. And I love how Kim put it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Where's my Margie saying?
Absolutely.
When we give up our power, yeah. We will have our power. When we give up our authority, when we give up our sovereignty, that's when other things start happening. With our focus has to be on that place where we are seated in him, and not budge there, not budge from it at all. And don't give, and that's why I think in the 2 or 3 years we've been together, I don't give it any attention. I do not give it attention, because I don't have to. I do not have to. But one of the reasons for bringing up the AI is the incredible power that it's going to challenge humanity with. And there's a lot of instead of having this machine to adjust your TV, how about I just give you this little chip? Won't hurt. It'll just go inside here in your head, and it'll connect with your, that's a power. And we have to say no. We have to say no. We're not giving that, because somehow Father's going to take, as we're breaking the 4-minute mile here, guys, he's going to show us the greater in that is going to make everything stop and think. But yeah, anyway, just taking it to another level here. I hope I didn't mess anybody up. Kathy.
No, that was good, Helen.
I just wanted to read something that Maggie posted, and maybe she'll comment to us about it. She wrote, where is all this taking us? Is the oneness of God drawing out our collective oneness? And how will we use our collective action to corrective good? And I just appreciate her commenting that. And just this, it was rolling around my mind before as we were speaking too, just about that our oneness, our unity. And I find myself more and more, if I'm singing a worship song, they tend to be very individualistic. I'm always saying we are instead of I am. I know that I am, but just that importance of collectively, how are we moving forward? So Maggie, you want to go ahead and comment more?
Well, I really don't know why I wrote it. It's just as I was listening to everybody talking, that was kind of what was swimming around inside of me. And I was just thinking, okay, where are we going with all of these wonderful, sort of the input from everyone? And it kind of made me feel that, and what do I know about anything? I just grab bits, and pieces. But I do believe there's councils that have taken place and are still taking place now in the heavens. And I'm just wondering whether, if we are, as we are one in him, then why don't we use this oneness to correct the corruption? Why don't we act as the ecclesia and use our sovereignty and our power? I mean, I don't really know what I'm saying. I'm just listening and just trying to make sense of it all. But I get the impression that we're better together, and there's something in there So I'm sorry, Kathy, but I don't have any deep meaning in terms of what I've said, but I'm just listening to what I'm hearing and I'm thinking, surely there's something that we can do together in all of this, really. That's where I was coming from.
That's so beautiful. You know, it's interesting, Maggie, as you said that. I had a meeting today with a friend, and we were talking about another something similar to what you're saying, and how one of the things, as we talked about, every person, you know, someone may feel that their responsibility is to take on, you know, I don't know, water, and someone else it may be AI, and someone else it may be food shortages, and someone else it may be children, and someone else it may be child trafficking or human trafficking, and how, you know, each one of us, so beautifully, you have said so beautifully how bringing every single, even just this small microcosm of Father's heart and the very fabric of his being, how each one of us is one strand of that fabric tapestry, and that one strand is exponentially huge, unlimited in capacity and scope, and even the slightest little attention that we give to something shifts it. Can you imagine when we actually put more of our attention on something, how big that will shift? But I think part of what Father is showing us, in not to stop doing that, because that is a thing and that needs to continue and will, right? But there is a place within us of learning by the constant use of what that feels like just now, me going out to make sure that the lights were back on and my internet was back on. I literally just passed by and spoke to the wind and the storm. Y'all need to back off, whatever the things I said. I mean, it was that fast because it was such a known thing by relationship. Right? It didn't come out of a place of fear or, oh my gosh, you know, I have responsibility, you know, none of that. It was because of relationship and constant use of the weather, and I know one another. And that is part of what he's teaching us in something like this, of that it comes out of that righteous place, not out of a place of, oh my goodness, I don't want to be uncomfortable, so let's deal with something right now and bypass, but from a place of knowing, a fullness of literally seeing what is and being able to speak from that place of already complete, whole, and nothing missing, nothing broken, if you will. That is the place that we live, move, and have our being from, not what we're trying to get to. And there is a difference. And it's also the way we think, those habits that we've created. Anyway, so I wanted to add that too to what you said, because it was so amen.
Wow, you know, you broadened the topic in a good way, Maggie, and Kim, I totally agree with you. What you have said, Margie or Maggie, was the fact that why, and you posed the question. I think I didn't write it down, but if all this power is within us, why don't we just get together and fix the problem? Is that a simple thing from where you? Yeah. Okay. And
yeah, kind of. It just made sense. Let's listen to how wonderful and how great and how powerful and authoritative we all are. Then let's do something with it. But I don't. Yeah, that's what I was coming from.
Okay, but I want to agree with you. The fact of the matter is this is the process we're in right now, is to into that realization so that organically we respond that way. And the pinnacle of all of it is to be operating in the love of God, in the highest frequency of it, so that when that time comes for the operation of it in situations, because we're not warfare, we're positioning, we're the fifth column being positioned, and we're not drawing out weapons, and we aren't angry at anybody, and we're not mad at anybody. We are love. And when you come in the opposite force of something, exactly what you said should happen will happen. We're training right now to ensure that is our focus. And I love how it's happening, because we're challenging each other in it, and we're also, I'm feeling the edification of it as well. I'm feeling, wow, I'm not alone in it. Like, I have amazing teammates in this, just, on the same team. And I believe that should that time come where to answer that, it will happen. But we're in basic training right now. We're in training, and yeah. And Margie said, perfect love casts out fear.
Amen.
Carmen, and then Lana, Angela, we have a lineup here. Okay.
Boy, I'm so honored to be part of this conversation. I think you're all so smart, and I think it's great the way we are helping to increase each other's awareness. And that is so important, that we learn to be who we are, that we really know who we are, because even when I say I am that I am, do I really believe it? No, I'm working on it, But that somewhere in the conversation, I thought of the Tower of Babel, and like, why were they building the Tower of Babel when they already had access to God? And I don't totally understand what the Tower of Babel was about. I know there's more to that than I understand, but it seems like, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with artificial body parts that people need, like people who've been to war or things like that. But for years, they've been trying to devalue us and devalue who we are in this wonderful, amazing technology that we have that cannot be duplicated.
That's right.
Really, in any way, shape, or form, because God created the best of the best. The only thing they can do is come up with not a very good copy. Before they used to say we had 5 senses, and now they're saying we have like 22. So they don't even know. We don't even know our full capacity. But it's like with this thing I noticed that, like with the breast cancer, when I went to the doctor, they were like, well, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to give you a mastectomy, and we're going to do this, we're going to do this, and we're going to do that. And I'm like, you're what? Well, we're going to do a mastectomy. And then I'm like, what you're saying is you're going to cut my breasts off. And they're like, yeah, that's what we do. And I'm like, no, that's not what you do. That's not what you do with me. But it's like the way they were saying it was like it was not a big deal. Mm-hmm. But, and I'm sorry if you've had one, but it is a big deal. And if you had one, you know that it is a big deal, because a woman's breasts are a very important part of who a woman is. You nourish your babies, and it talks about the nature of a woman, the nurturing and all that. And so it's like, they talk about replacing us or replacing parts of us, like if you were nothing, and the next thing is replacing us, right? And so it's like a very slow, like putting the frog in the boiling water, you just put the frog in the water and then you turn the heat up kind of thing. And so, but we are the temple, and you cannot make artificial intelligence and make that the temple. That is not going to be God's temple. And I don't know if that was coherent or if it made any sense, but because you all have my head spinning, but that's it. Thank you.
No,
That was so
and you
good.
see, that is the amazing part, Carmen, that you just hit. They can't make human. And that we need a t-shirt made for that. They can't make human. And they have made, I forget the name of the skin that's on the the robot, but it's goofy to make everything human like. But the fact is, and as all of these things get put out before us and get honed as being so magnificent and better than anything, we have to be in training, understanding that our humanness is divine and greater than anything that can be manufactured. And because, there is an elect that will be deceived in the end times that we're in.
That's right.
That's such a cliche statement these days, but deception is possible. And what our focus is through all of this is to continue that our focus has the plumb line and knowing who we are in God and who He is in us. I even have difficult time with the pronouns, except I call God Father. So if any of you have problem with that, that's just what I do, who I am. And because it's an intimate relationship. All right, Carmen, you're provoking us. Thank you. Lana and Angela.
I love that Kim brought up relationship, because that's what I've been learning about of late, not just relationship and realizing how everything is based on relationship. And if you don't have relationship with others, then really what there's no basis, there's nothing to stand on. But even relationship with myself and trusting myself. Carmen, you just mentioned it when the doctors were telling you to get a mastectomy and you're like, no, because that's not who you were. And you just knew that was not the route you were taking. But Maggie, you also, I loved what you had said, Maggie, as well. And right now I'm just realizing, you know what, I have to be very careful with my thoughts. I need to make sure that if something is trying to invade that does not line up with the truth of who I am, then I need to make sure that goes right away, because there's no time, there's no room for that at all. So
yeah,
that's so good.
Yeah, thank you, Lana. We need to be totally aware. Totally. Angela.
It's so hard to stay focused on what you think you're going to bring. Every single person, like, oh.
The truth.
Oh my goodness. But even today, just speaking to what she just said, even today, and I've never said it this way before, but all of a sudden I am just addressing anything that would enter in and interface with me from an external place. And I just release the decree that everything that sits at a lower frequency will instantaneously come up to the frequency of life, light, and love when it interfaces into my airspace, so to speak, which would be my universe. So to me, that speaks right into what she was saying. It's like, it's so good. That's learning how to govern. But I'm on the fence about a couple of things, because, we know what the eye hooks into enlarges. We're the ones. Which balloon are we going to blow up, by giving our attention?
Yeah.
And I've seen it for years. I mean, we've all known for years. We've been hearing it and speaking it for years. And now, as you brought up Jeremiah, and I'm like, Jeremiah started the thing. He started speaking it into existence. What?
Right.
Because we've grown up, you know, I mean, we've seen the movies, all of the apocalyptic movies where we've said it for 30 years that the beast is a computer, you know. I mean, we've given it, we've continued to focus on it and look at it and go, ah! And it's like it's just getting more life and more life and more life. But here's the thing that I've seen in sitting with the wheat and the tares parable that Jesus said, and he clearly said this is about the end times. They marry they grow up together, and the truth is that the distortion, the enemy, I like to refer to it as the distortion, but that distortion has absolutely zero offensiveness because we are I am. The distortion can only respond to what it sees in us.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we see all of this crazy wacky going on, it's that distorted enemy, adversary, is only responding out of fear, really, because we're the governors.
Mm.
And we can govern by giving it life, the thing we don't want, by speaking about it, going, it's there, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. And then when it comes, we're like, see, I told you. And it's like, we framed it, right? And so even with the book of Revelation, I mean, I've sat with it for quite a few years when I was here doing House of Prayer stuff. But it's like that, the adversary's last stand is where we're at.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no offense on the adversary's playbook. It can't be. There's only that response to seeing the glory. So the wheat and the tares, we could look at those tares and go, we are looking really good, y'all, because we have to have, it's so symbiotic that it's like we can get there. We couldn't get there on our own. We had to have this adversity
Mm-hmm.
to help us dig deep, dial down, and be that hungry for God. So, I mean, I just see it all, and I thank the Lord all the time, and I put a smile on my face because I'm like, it's all been necessary to get us where we're supposed to be. So I've struggled just a little bit, you know, with thinking, man, now we've got to go in the heavens and govern AI, go away, because we're, you know, that's just me. I love what we're doing here, and I'm here. Nothing's going to chase me away. I love to do it together, but those are just some of the things where I'm on the fence about, because like I said, just by creating the perfect, by sitting in our I amness and becoming, we already are, but remembering it completely and being fully conscious of our I amness, the perfect, the imperfect, the distortion will fall by the wayside. And I'm not saying we don't do anything, because every single person's called on, like y'all said. Somebody's going to do this thing and they're going to be obedient. It's all about obedience, obviously. And we, you know, the payload that we came here with, you know, when we entered into the realm of earth, we came with a package of heaven to deliver. So we all have to do that. But anyway, I just want to throw that into this conversation, and I am just absolutely loving this. Yummy.
You're yummy, Angela. I get thinking in so many directions when you're sharing. I can't tell you. That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Kim, did you want to say something?
I want to definitely give Sandy and Lana time, but Angela, you just always blow me away. Yeah. When you were talking about the entrainment at the beginning, that the lower frequencies have to come into Father, I suddenly had this epiphany, just this, I don't know, it hit me in such a different way of how many times have we talked about that? How many times have we, I mean, on so many different levels. And that is the very, I think, place position why Jesus could say the enemy has nothing in common with me.
Mhm.
Right? Because he knew he already knew that was what would happen, because he knew where he sat. He knew who he was. He knew the response. He knew his reaction was going to be, oh, well, you just need to get into alignment with Father's sound. I mean, there was nothing else but that. It just, I don't know, it hit me, and I can't even verbalize what hit me when you said that, but when you said that, it started pinging all over the place. It may come out in a later day, but it's so good, Angela. So good.
Yeah. I appreciate too that you were looking at different sides of it, and you haven't landed with each of those what ifs in your own life yet. Like, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Just the freedom of direction in it. That was really fun to hear. That's really good.
Mhm. Yeah.
All right, Sandy.
I just wanted to say thank you, Kim and Helen, for bringing us all together. And I started listening online and hearing all of your testimonies, and the frequency of love through all of you is truly what drew me in. And Maggie, when you spoke earlier, it reminded me of when I was 18 years old. So it was about almost 30 years ago. God said to me, I wrote down in the journal, I didn't know it was God at the time, that my goal in life was to spread love throughout the world. And that's exactly what this group is doing. So I just wanted to thank you all.
Thank you, Sandy. That just so blesses my heart.
Known,
What amazing.
I've known
So
Sandy
amazing.
for I don't know how many years, Sandy. I actually officiated at her wedding. I've only known her as love. Like, seriously. Yeah, Alana's nodding, Gina's nodding. Those of us, like, it is so it's so on your scroll. You were born with it. And Sandy, you don't even have to try. You walk in the room, the atmosphere changes. You walk in, you say very, very little, but your presence raises the frequency. So we're the ones who really appreciate you. You're absolutely lovely. Thank you. Hearts follow her. I have a picture of years ago. She came into our front door. We've lived in a number of houses, so I don't remember where. And the leaves, when she came up, formed a heart. It was really, and she took a picture of it. The leaves, like I have the picture. Nothing in the middle, just a complete perfect heart of bone leaves. And then when she left, it snowed, and now you've got this white heart, feathered heart of and I would imagine that's just God giving her a kiss, because that's who you are, Sandy. And we love you so much.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. Love follows you. Gina.
I just want to quickly say that Sandy is like an ambassador of love.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like an absolute ambassador. When I first met her, I thought, oh, wow, she's sort of like crazy, because how could she even think she would love that? Like, she could take the most unlovely thing we were talking about and then bring it around to love. And it really spoke to me, really helped me along in my walk. So she's an ambassador for sure of love. Thanks, Sandy. You're amazing. What would we do without you?
I have amazing mentors.
But I just wanted to say one thing. When Angela was speaking about, she mentioned DNA, our DNA, and I can't get it out of my brain, because it's been rolling around in my heart for the last little bit. And we all know, like, the DNA is the signature of God in us, right? We know that, and gone through the Yod He Vav He and how that is the chemical and the alchemic parts of us. So I'm not getting into all that, but I'm just thinking of the actual word, the deoxyribonucleic acid. And you take it backwards, acid is at an atomic level, the atoms, it's the physical property of who we are. And then the nucleic is the middle part, the in between. And then the deoxyribon, the D stands for deity, God. Oxy, of course, is oxygen, the breath of God. And I think there's our DNA. And I think, wow. Then we talk about what's been going on in the world as far as transhumanism and changing the DNA by the mRNA. And I'm thinking, well, the messenger RNA is the energy. It's the energy that it's the platform that's used to deliver the operating system. And that's what they want from us. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, that's our magnetism right there.
Mm-hmm.
So Kim, when you said, the shadow of the person would heal because it's the electromagnetic field coming out from us, from this DNA, from the physical property, the atoms in the middle part and the breath of God walking by. Like, hello, that's who we are.
Yeah.
So there's some science and spirituality married.
Come on.
Right? I mean, it's just been running through me, and I thought, yeah, the DNA, the divine spark, the magnetism, that's it.
Yeah.
The signature of God. We are that. And anyway, yeah, so I'm just having my own little party here. I just throw that in.
Everybody on this call is screaming right now.
know. Can I just ask, how did you start that again? Can you go back to what brought you down that trail? I just need to know where you started. Can you go back to where you started? And
Who,
just
me?
so I can, yes, Gina, where did you start that? You wrote it down, you said it, you read it from your papers. Like, where did you start? Because where you went was insane, but I want to know where you started.
Well, I don't know.
Yes, you do. You can look
I
at
don't have a
papers.
beginning or an end. Well, Angela was talking about DNA, but I had been thinking about it.
That was it. What was the thing going around in your mind? What was that?
Well, what DNA is and why it's so important and why it's a big topic right now.
Yeah.
And why the mRNA messenger is so like, what are they doing with, COVID jabs and all the stuff, right?
Right.
And what it's doing in the human body and transhumanism.
Yes.
So, put all that together. I don't know where it started. It's been going on for a while. Sorry, Margie. Like, really?
That's good though. No, that was good. That was a good start. I had to go back.
Yeah,
that was a great jumping off point.
Run around in my brain all the time, right? And so I have to catch. It's called catch.
I love your brain. I love your brain.
So I have to wear a hat most times just to keep everything, in one pathway.
Oh, that was so good, Gina.
Oh my gosh. Anyway,
Oh my gosh.
I'll be quiet.
Heaven's sakes alive.
Her t-shirt reads, "I hardly ever know until I tell you."
I need that t-shirt.
Oh. All right, Lana.
I just have to agree that everything that was said regarding Sandy, I'm 100% in with that. And you are love. That's it. That's all.
Yeah.
And Angela, I just wanted to thank you. I need to ponder this a little more, but you reminded me of a dream I had years and years and years ago while you were talking. And there was all this warfare. I was on this huge farm, but I was tucked away and I can't even remember who I was with at the time, but we were just watching and observing all of this, but in a place of rest in the trees, and nobody could see us. We were completely hidden. And I just thought there was something to that because of the rest portion. Because I know sometimes I can run ahead of myself trying to figure things out. And yeah, so anyways, the whole rest thing was important to me. But
That's so good. That's so good, Lana. And I, you know, honestly, we just stay in that place, right? We just stay in that place until Father says, "Oh, this," and brings our attention, and we just go and do what he's saying go do, and our shadow heals somebody on the road.
yeah.
It's just so easy.
Oh,
So good.
I had a really fun experience today. Every Wednesday I take my grandkids out for coffee. We don't drink coffee, but this day the eldest 12-year-old grandson wasn't with us. I was just with the 4-year-old. And he and I are sitting down. He's got his donut. He's starting to eat it. And this little old fellow from Norway comes along, and I can't remember his name, but it was pretty fancy. And he was kind of attracted to Kellen, and he says hi to him. Well, then he proceeded to spend the next 5-10 minutes telling us his story and showing us a picture of his wife. And then the lady who's just across from us, she's listening in on the conversation, and somebody slides into a booth that she's kind of scared of because he looks a little rough. And so she stops at the table on the way out, and to make sure that if this fellow leaves, she's going to be protected. So it was just kind of interesting how this whole thing transpired. And I just realized that, you know what, us stopping there every Wednesday is making a difference because people are recognizing us. And it was just so much fun. But my grandson was so well behaved because yeah, he can get a little spicy. So anyways, he was just the best.
Oh, I love that.
Anyways, it was lots of fun.
Oh my gosh. You know, and isn't it so amazing when you can see the atmosphere begin to change because you've been there?
Yeah.
The atmosphere, I mean, it's just such a sweet little kiss from Father of you're right where you're supposed to be, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, and even in that it is all that is needed to shift.
Right. And I really didn't even think of that until this call tonight. And I'm like, wait a minute, that all transpired because of who I am, who my grandson is. Like, anyways, just so cool.
Yes. Yes. Oh, thank you for sharing that. Sabraham? I know it's your first name and then your last name, Abraham. Sheena, right? Sabrina.
Yeah, it's Sharina.
Sharina. That's
Sharina.
right. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm using my company laptop, so it comes as Abraham, Sharina Abraham. I'm actually in India, so I'm enjoying all these talks and everything. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing, and I'm just so excited actually. So good. I just want to say that many years ago, the Lord gave me this word. Love is the weapon against the enemy. And I'll teach you how to walk in love. This was long ago, but I didn't really knew what it is, what all about. But now I understand that's what he was saying to me. Yeah, and then I got few other things also. This is years ago. I wrote down in my journal, but now it's slowly unfolding those things through this group. And it's amazing. And yeah, and from then onwards, I always noticed that God put me with a group of people, very difficult, hard people, difficult people to love with. Even currently, many, because my family all are Muslim here in India. So it's like some of them, they don't like me. So got few things, always issues. but I am in the midst, and then it's the perfect place for me to practice what I've been learning. And I know that I'm walking in that love. And even though sometimes I don't see things like Kim said, my shadow can change. That's what I believe too. I believe that is what happens. When I walk, things will change. When my presence, even though sometimes my brain will say, oh, nothing is changing, but I need to, eliminate that thought. Doesn't matter. It is changing, even though I'm not seeing it. And then when I touch something, it will prosper because I am that I am. So I'm trying to walk, not trying, I want to, the awareness have to be there, always that awareness who we are. And it really helps week by week. We are talking about it. It really becoming more and more, we all are walking in that more awareness of who we are. I'm not really looking for changes to happen. It will happen. That's my
Amen.
issue. Sometimes I look, oh, he didn't heal. Oh, when I touch, he didn't heal. No, I'm not looking for that. So I'm just know that it will happen. It doesn't matter. I did, and it has to happen. So initially that was my issue. It will pull me down a bit. Hey, what is all this? You say I am, but when I'm doing it, nothing happened. I'm just, my natural eyes have to see it. So now I learned, oh no, I don't have to see it. It's just happened. It's just the faith and the trust.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for this group. Yeah, thank you.
Amen. Amen.
That is so excellent. Kim, I want to just, I didn't put your hand down. That's why you're still there. Thanks, Serena. And when are you coming home?
1st of July, I'll be back.
Okay.
Yeah, but I have to work from here. I'll start work in half an hour. Like 5 hours I work from here, work from home, and then rest of the time I can spend with the family. Yeah.
Lovely. What a gift. What a gift.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. We can look at a number have brought up difficulties in times, right? We do have difficulties. I just want to encourage you in that, because difficulties can be our best teachers if we look at them. Instead of getting a little ticked at it and why are these things going on, just say, what are you teaching me? What are you teaching me? And it just becomes a whole other paradigm, another look. Kimberly, darling, is there anything that we've sort of intertwined? I know some of the things from last week, just so that everyone's clear. Last week we presented two different challenges. Kim brought one view, I brought another, and the purpose of this session was to give both sides a chance. And Kim, I feel like you've been shortchanged a bit because there's such richness in you, and so much that you taught on Sunday at the Convergence. So I just want to give you the floor. Really honor what you're bringing, and whatever you'd like to say, just go for it.
Oh, thank you. I honestly, it's been so rich. It's just been so, I am excited about what Father is doing in this, and his heart and intention it's y'all, I'm so excited because I know it's going to be incredible. So honestly, what I want to leave with everyone on this call is to, if everyone has a pen and paper that you can write down, I want you to write down this question. If I am, then what does Father want me to see
Mhm.
About being human. If I am, then what does Father want me to see about being human?
Hmm.
And I could dig into that from the moment we've got Jesus, him having to be born of a woman. That was God himself. So let that just saturate you. Leave all of what you've thought about where you want to go with all of the spiritual understanding and what we've learned and how to ascend and how to step in and all that stuff. Please, for this moment, while you meditate, let's say for the next week on this question, put all that aside and just sit with Father with that question and let him unravel from within you what he wants you to see and know by experience. Because remember, Father said, your eyes see or create the door, your mouth opens it. And that word see is a demonstrative, I shared this Sunday, a demonstrative particle. And it means that it can stand by itself, or it points to the words before it or the words after it. So even this verse that sister shared, Tamara shared about, see, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs forth. Thank you, by the way, Greg Jansen. Now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it? That word behold or see is literally Father saying, I am doing a new thing, is pointing to the sea, the word see. It's pointing to that word saying, hey, there's something hidden right here. Then unless you're actually sitting with it and saying, okay, just expand out of me. What that, if I am, then what does Father want me to see? About being human.
I love that, Kim. I love that. I love it, love it. You know, I'm sitting here because my mind just started, I wanted just to sit and write because I just got triggered. If you feel like yeah, Gina, you have an idea. If you feel like you'd like to share that with the group, if you want to send it to me, send it to the cottage at mymts.net. And if you want to do that, I will put them together, like just put them together in a document of thoughts. We'll just call it thoughts or something. And if you'd like to read people's answers to that, I know I would, because I think it's a really critical question. What does he want me to see about being, not because we're so used to putting it out there for other people, right? And I would think, no, he's talking personally right now and up close and personal. I love it. So if you want to share it, I'll put it in and share it with people. I don't know how to navigate this group. I know how I'll navigate it when we come to the what if Chronicles apart. But right now I feel like we almost need a sort of a little chat room or something that we can, I don't want to put things out publicly that really have been a private heart matter for us, right? So I'm trying to figure out how to do that properly.
Helen,
Yes.
Is everybody on Signal? We could create a Signal group.
I don't know if everyone's
Can you
on.
hear me, Helen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kathy's saying yes. Yeah.
Signal is really easy to download and it's encrypted. That's a nice thing about it. I don't think Facebook offers that. I know that Debbie was saying, "Hey, let's do a Facebook group." So I agree that Signal might be better, and it gives some great options as far as communication.
Okay.
There's also Telegram,
Yeah, Telegram too.
Okay.
which is pretty safe.
So I don't know what would be involved with that. Like, I know that I don't, yeah. I don't have time to monitor it. I don't have time to be on it. Like to respond. Is it necessary? Like, how does it work? Is it just a reporting and people talk amongst themselves?
Everybody can talk amongst themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no administration. It's as far as Signal, there's no administration that needs to happen because everyone's just commenting, responding, all of that at will. So everyone can see everything that's posted there. It's not a thing that you have to, let in or exclude comments or any of that kind of thing. It just is. Just kind of like texting. Everybody that's in a group text sees the group text.
So you start one, you sign up. If you have to sign up to be sort of a member in it. Is that it?
No, it's an app that you download on your phone, like any other app. And then once you're in there, you can join whichever group, or we can, if you wanted to do that, if we think that's a great way to go, we would just create a group. And I'm happy to do that. I can easily create a group in the Signal app, and then invite everyone into that group, and then everyone is then able to see and share at will.
Okay.
Will people need to send you their phone number though, right? Like their cell phone number?
Yes.
So that is one thing. And where would they, if they wanted to do that, where would they send that to?
That is so great. Thank you, Kathy. Here, I'm going to put my email in the chat. And if anyone that has Signal, but you don't have my contact information, just send me an email with your phone number and email address, and I'll be sure to add you.
Okay. Well, that's super. Well, shall we do a What If Chronicles?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, it'd be kind of neat.
I'll create that tonight.
Okay. Jerry's clapping. Thank you. All right. Well,
Jerry wants to say something.
Sorry, Kim, do you want to be inundated with that, or are you going to take the name? You already have access to a lot of people on Signal that are already in this group. So do you want to be inundated with that new information, or are you going to extrapolate out of your existing group?
I will extrapolate out. So I will create a separate group in Signal that's just What If Chronicles, and add from the recording, everybody that was in this session tonight, that is in. Is that what is that? Am I answering your question correctly?
Yes. So everyone that is already in contact with you on Signal does not have to respond with their name and number.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. I'm not carrying this technical stuff in my head. It's so terrible. Oh, Helen. Okay.
So I have a question to get onto Signal. It's called exactly what? There's a few different kind of signals here.
Let me show you the app.
On the app store. Yeah. Okay. Good. Thanks.
Let me see. Oh, hold on. Let me turn off my. Where is it? Sorry, y'all. I didn't. I'm sorry, it's not letting me. Okay, can you see? Nope, it's not showing. It looks like a blue square with a white word bubble
and a little smile underneath.
No smile. It's just a blue square with a white word bubble.
Okay. Oh, okay. Just a sec. Let me see if I can do it. Oh, it's two. Oh, there.
Yes.
Carmen's
You
got
see
it.
Carmen's?
Oh, yeah, got it. Okay.
That's it.
Got it. Yeah.
Thank you,
So
Carmen.
it's called Signal Private Messenger.
Yes.
Okay. Great.
Yep.
Okay.
Done.
Okay.
And
well,
then so are we just going to do we have to do our stuff, or we just get on when you've made one?
What I'll do is when we finish this call, I'll create a group, and then everyone that I have contact information for, I will add you to the group.
Okay.
And those of you that I don't have, that you've never, like you're not in any of my Signal groups and you've never communicated with me via email or text or whatever, then please send me an email if you want to be in the Signal group, and I'm happy to include everybody.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you for doing this. Is this Signal group just for people who are specifically going to be signing up for the What If Chronicles? Like, I'm not sure if I can officially sign up for it at this time, but I really love the conversation that's happening here. And so is this group like specifically for only those who are definitely signing up for the course?
Well, at this point, we will start this group here. And then I think that's something that Helen and I will need to work through and talk through, because we definitely, I feel like it's important for y'all, everybody that's been in this conversation, to keep it going, especially with the homework, if you want to call it that, the challenge, not homework, to be able to share and go, process through all of that. And so there may be a Signal group that we create, or another form of communication that we create for the actual, for the folks that register and participate going forward with the 12-week course.
Yeah.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome, Teresa.
Mara? Tamara?
Where'd you go? There she is.
I just want to say, for those that are not familiar with Signal, because we're in different time zones and some of us different countries, there is a option on the Signal app where you can mute like a conversation, because somebody may be posting a big thing like at 2 p.m, but for you that's 2 a.m. And so now it's waking you up, or it's dinging a lot. So there is that option to mute. Like, you could go back and check it any time, but it just will not like signal you every time there's a because when you get quite a few people on a Signal group and everybody's responding, it will ding you. I remember one night it was like bing, 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 and my husband's like, who is texting? But it was the Signal group, because we're all over the world, and so it's different times. So anyway, I just wanted to say, for those of you that aren't familiar with Signal, like other apps, you can mute at different times. You can mute it and then go check it 3 times a day if you want, or you can leave it on all the time. I just wanted to let you know there is that option if your time zones are different, or if you're finding that you're getting a lot of responses and it's in the middle of the night. So just wanted to let you know that if you're not familiar with Signal.
Yeah.
Yes, good point, sister.
Okay, so going forward, we will be announcing or formally announcing, we did this last couple of weeks to honor the Convergence group and the River group. So you had a little heads up about what's coming down the line. We will be starting I was going to say group. We'll be starting the What If Chronicles on the first week in September, on the Tuesday. It'll be twice a week, and we are needing to do it on a cost recovery basis for charging. That's what we decided to do, and we are at this point looking at $20 a week for We figured that would be like, you know, going out for coffee in Canada. And the registration will go through right now Kim Whitman Ministries, because we want to centralize it so that everyone goes into the same channel. But we're going to send that information out to you, and also put it on the websites, and announce it formally, properly, you know, through our groups here.
Helen, is it the September the 12th, or was it the week
September.
before that, the 5th?
No, we're going to go after Labor Day weekend, after, yeah. So it will go from the 12th. I think there's 5 weeks in October. It'll go from September 12th to the end of November.
Yeah, December 2nd will be our last mentoring session.
Right. And then we'll assess things from there, because we do have a part 2 if everyone's keen. Yeah. Well, it's been exceptional. You make it exceptional, and I hope you have heard my heart, Kim's heart, each other's heart, and those that have written in to say how much you guys make the difference. And I just love the fact that we can put all our thoughts, our hearts together, and affect our world. You just don't know. You just don't know who's where. And I just am so humbled when I hear that somebody's life is being touched. And you know what? I'm being touched every Wednesday, every time I'm with the Convergence. It's that like-hearted energy is just over the top. So I love you from my toes to the cosmos. There's a plane going overhead here. And I just want to say, may the Lord bless you and keep you. Make his face to shine upon you, be gracious unto you. He lift up his countenance upon you and grant you his shalom.
Amen.
Nothing missing, nothing broken.
Nothing missing, nothing broken.
Kim, I love you. And
I love you.
Thank you for partnering, and thank you for the privilege of being together. And I'm so looking forward to September. But I'm not wishing summer away, just so you know.
I love you guys. Love you, Helen Toews. It's a pleasure. Again, it's like being with family every time I'm here. So I love being with you, where we're going with this, y'all. This is going to be so incredible.